Ahoy, you parking lot. Alucard here, also known as Reddit's favorite demon. And today I wanted to talk about some new gameplay ideas and mechanic concepts that I think could really transform Evil Dead the game into an actual fun experience. At least for Demon. In case you're wondering, that does mean that yes, right now, Demon isn't that fun to play. I actually did a little experiment the other day where I searched the word demon on the Evil Dead subreddit. You know it's gotta be bad when the subreddit that hates me is repeating all the reasons I gave for demon sucking balls right now. But I've already talked a lot in other videos about all the problems of Demon, so now in this video I want to focus on some new mechanics and concepts that I think could really transform the fun factor in the game. Now I know that the devs will probably never implement any of these, and even if they were going to, it probably wouldn't be until 2025, based on how fast they do things. But even still, I wanted to share my thoughts and ideas with you guys, and I hope that you enjoy the video. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is how screamers are a completely useless and very stupid thing that devs implemented for some unknown reason, which actually serves such a negative gameplay purpose that you can't even see the effect of the screamer that you choose yourself, since only your opponent can. In case you don't know what a screamer is, it's just that picture of the jump scare that happens when you perform a demon dash successfully on survivors. From the demon side, when you pick a screamer, that's what they see, not you. It doesn't affect you as the demon in any way, shape, or form. But imagine if the screamer actually did have some gameplay significance and altered how your demon dash worked. Now, of course, to implement something like this, the first thing would be that the screamers would have to not be locked behind any sort of DLC package or behind any sort of prestige system, at least not the ones that are used to alter gameplay. I would make it so that each screamer you equip correlates with a completely different demon dash effect, and it's going to alter how you would play the game and your strategy as demon. So for my first demon dash variant, I would make it so that the demon dash now does 30% energy gain as normal, causes no fear, but now has a 30% faster cooldown and does 250 damage. Now this would be a different way to use the demon dash. The idea would be to actually try to use it to down people or just like do sudden damage in the middle of things. The damage would be able to be reduced by like David's ability or the general, damage reduction perks. I think it would put an interesting spin on how demon dash is used. Instead of raising fear, you're using it for pure damage. The other unique thing about this demon dash, besides causing damage, is that it will now affect active cars and automatically hit every survivor inside. To balance this version of the demon dash can be dodged or even avoided with a finisher. When you're using this version of the demon dash, survivors will be afraid to get in a car right in front of you. The constant fear of taking extra damage out of nowhere is going to make it so survivors have to constantly be on edge and worry about when you might do it. The goal of this demon dash is to instill fear in the survivors, and that's an emotion that they probably haven't felt in months. Now let's talk about my second demon dash idea. For this version of the demon dash, it would no longer gain energy or cause fear, and even take 30% longer to charge, but now it would stun survivors for 2 seconds longer. I know that doesn't sound so amazing, but the big thing about this version of the demon dash is that you'd be able to use it remotely. The way that this would work is that you would use your demon dash as usual, except that instead of going off right away, it would store a charge. And then you would press a button at any point afterwards to use that stored demon dash. Or you can choose to erase the charge by pressing a different button. If you erase the charge, it wouldn't waste the cooldown. You just have to do it again. After you store the demon dash charge, the game would have to give you a visual indicator that shows you the line it would take. After that, you can use this demon dash whether you're possessing a unit, a boss, or doing anything else. Basically, this would turn the demon dash into a preemptive trap, and make it so survivors can't dodge you because they're stunned for a longer period of time. It would also combo well with certain units or a boss, and if they line up or position themselves badly because you predict their movement, you'll be able to get a lot of damage in, or possibly kill them. I think that a remotely detonated stun version of the Demon Dash would be very fun and definitely add a ton of strategy. It would definitely make the playstyle feel new. And now it's time to talk about my final new Demon Dash variant idea. For this one, your Demon Dash would actually have a 50% faster cooldown and a 50% reduced charge time, but it would no longer affect survivors. Instead, every unit that you Demon Dash through now goes berserk. And what I mean by berserk is a brand new status effect. The status effect would be a 20-second buff that removes aggression limits, increases movement speed, increases attack speed, and ability speed. And the big thing about this is for the first 6 seconds of those 20 seconds, your units can't die. They can't go below 1 HP, and they have balance bar resistance. To balance this, Berserk is its own status effect. If you possess the Berserk unit, it will lose the buff, just like with Warlord's ability. And you can't combine it with other abilities, such as Warlord's ability, to give it infinite balance bar also. It'd be its own unique standalone buff. The reason that they need to be unable to die for the first 6 seconds is because the goal of this Demon Dash is to create chaos with the AI. The goal of this Demon Dash is to alter your gameplay and how you do things. So for example, Necromancer would be very strong with this because you could put the flute guy behind a wall of units and whoever goes to kill it would not be able to do it solo, at least not right away. Because if you're ready with the Demon Dash as they get close, you can protect the units nearby and your flute guy from dying for 6 seconds as you possess a unit and go for that guy that's trying to solo your flute guy. The survivors would have to adapt and probably send at least 2 people for it instead of 1. But that only works, again, if you're ready with the Demon Dash, so you'd physically have to be at the flute guy and not attacking them. And keep in mind, I'm actually trying to make this balanced, even if it doesn't sound like that. If you have units that are buffed by the flute and you Demon Dash through them, they would lose the flute buff and instead the Berserk buff would take priority, at least until it wore off. You would never be able to combine both the flute buff and the Berserk buff on the same unit, because that would definitely be overpowered as hell. The goal of all these Demon Dash variants is to add more layers of strategy and decision making that both sides will need to adapt to throughout the game. It's to make the game overall more fun and more chaotic. Now let's move on to my next big idea, which is a total rework of how survivor possession operates. Let me introduce a brand new system that I like to call the cloning survivor system. First, let me tell you how I came up with fixing the entire problem and exploit of survivors dropping weapons and ammo and other bullshit before being possessed. I'm about to tell you how to do something that Saber hasn't figured out how to do for 6 months. Now when you possess a survivor, instead of using their actual weapons, you use their most recently equipped weapons with full ammo regardless of how much they have. However, to balance this, you no longer waste any of their actual ammo. By recently equipped weapons, I mean any weapon that isn't your fist. With my brilliant idea, we see how dropping weapons or ammo, or leaving a weapon not reloaded is now pointless, since you'll just equip a copy of their most recently equipped weapon with full ammo that's ready to be used anyway. And since you no longer waste their actual ammo, they don't have an excuse to do that bullshit anymore. Another slight balancing change is that when you first possess a survivor, you have a 3-second grace period before you can take damage. However, if you attack, dodge, even aim a gun, if you do anything that's basically active at all other than moving, the grace period will end early. The point of these changes is to make it so that when you possess a survivor, you actually have a chance to fight as them if you want to. Finally, I had some new ideas that should incentivize survivors to work more as a team and stay together. One of my first changes would be that map pieces cannot be collected until at least 30 seconds after they spawn. The other change would be that once the survivors collect 2 of the map pieces, the demon is now shown where the 3rd map piece is. The goal of this is to encourage survivors to not be splitting up as much, because once they collect the first 2 map pieces, the demon will know where the 3rd one is and be able to set up by it. My next incentive is that if a survivor has no teammates within 200 meters of them, the demon's growl and spirit form will rapidly raise their fear level. For balancing, if they have any dead teammates, down teammates, or are carrying a soul, this mechanic doesn't take effect. The goal of this is to punish any survivors that want to endlessly loop or vault or do whatever by themselves on the map, because now they'll be infinitely feared and quickly get possessed over and over until they die. I wanted to balance it so that it punishes survivors for being away from the team, but doesn't punish survivors for being the last one left, as long as their teammates are nearby. And that counts even if they're dead. One final nerf for a change I'd make is that after the Dark Ones are attacked by the Kandarian Dagger, and actually lose some HP, the Storm will now move 500% faster. This is also to discourage splitting up. It's basically to say that you want your team together before starting the Dark Ones, and to encourage them to stay together. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and all that other stuff that every other guy tells you to do. See you later.